Good evening, everyone. Jaime Landeros from the CantinaMX podcast. Today, it's another two-man wolf pack. Me and Joel will be recapping Jornada 6 and then kind of talking about match day 7. Also, some hot news out of Portugal. Some good news. We'll be talking about that. We'll keep it short today. Joel, how are we doing? Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, Jaime. Right here enjoying the weekend. And as you said, match week 7 is in full swing. We already got a somewhat of a surprising result with Puebla laying the smackdown on Toluca 4-1 at home.
Super Camotes.
Yeah, I was not expecting Toluca to lose in that fashion. But, you know, oddly enough, they're still in second place. At least for now. They're at 12 points. So the Diablos at 12 points, except they've now fallen to a -2 goal differential. And Puebla has jumped up to 4th. So they're in Liguilla, 12th place. 12th place is the cutoff, but they're safe so far. And I was like, who's coaching Puebla? I had to know. And because I had not put attention to them, and it's Juan Reynoso. He was a former Cruz Azul defender, Peruvian international, and he's coaching in Mex now, and it's his first season, so not so bad, I guess. Ahí va.
Yeah, Puebla go through these weird runs, where they'll have some pretty good spurts throughout the league. But yeah, it's a team of, nobodies. I don't really recognize anybody in that lineup,
Yeah.
But
so just quick recap of their season so far.
Sure.
They opened with a 4-1 win over Mazatlan, which was on the road. That's always a plus. Then they tied Cruz Azul at home.
Wow.
Which is another good result, being Cruz Azul is one of the, if you had to name 3 candidates to win the league, they are one of them. Then they match week 3, they take the win over Chivas. I believe this is when I forgot his name already, man. The sack.
Yeah, the straw that broke the camel's back. That was the despedida de Fernando Tena.
His first game.
His first game back.
Because he missed the first 2 on the COVID leave.
Yeah, he was.
And so then they lose to Tigres away, but 2-1. So that's not bad. And again, if we're talking about top 3 to win, Tigres is another of the candidates. And so, and then they lose to Pachuca, and now they've bounced. They lose to Pachuca, and then they lost to Tijuana, both by 1 goal.
Yeah, it's been.
So the doble jornada was not kind to them. 2 defeats. So this was like their 3rd straight defeat. And then they just bounced back against Toluca and scoring 4 goals, man. So that they got Pumas. They're gonna have Pumas in. So that should be interesting.
If there's one thing that we can always guarantee about Liga MX and Mexican football in general is the inconsistency. Because, for example, we'll go over match day 6 really quickly. Necaxa beat Santos 2-1. Juárez tied León 0-0. Tigres and Pumas tied 1-1. Atlas beat Querétaro. América lost to Monterrey 3-1. Toluca beat Chivas. Tijuana beat Puebla. Atleti San Luis lost to Cruz Azul 3-1. And Pachuca Mazatlan game was pretty entertaining 4-3. But what I wanted to talk about real quickly is Querétaro, which, remember, is the team that stomped America the week before 4-1, and Atlas, the team that we were making fun of, they beat them.
Yeah.
So what
It
the
was
hell,
Atlas'
man?
first win.
Their first
Right?
win.
Atlas. Yeah, it can make it difficult for if you're doing those prediction leagues. It can make it difficult
La
to
quiniela.
get some of the results because yeah, you get these. They're very common, to have
Yeah.
uh
So you combine the inconsistency of players and teams, and then you throw in the fact that 12 out of the 18 teams are going to make the playoffs. I mean, anybody has a shot of winning this league. At this point,
yeah.
it's literally like whoever finishes on a hot streak could potentially win the league. Really funny, right after we finished recording our last episode, Chivas got the banhammer. Well, 2 players. It was, I believe, Antuna's birthday, and him and Vega, for some reason, decided to share their story on Instagram, all drunk and singing, and they got in trouble, and they were actually pulled out from the game against Toluca. Not using that
Yes.
as an excuse of why we lost, but what is going on with Chivas and discipline and players kind of breaking the bubble, so to speak?
Yeah, very interesting question because I know they've been struggling with that. It's been an ongoing issue, and you could go far back to when we had Omar Bravo and Alberto Medina, and the fans used to call them Tomar Bravo and Beberto Medina. And there was all these stories of them just being drunk. It's like
But they got results.
the Chivas squad is sort of like what's that comedy where they forget? It's like a wedding, and then
Are you talking about like
they need to
Club de Cuervos
they
or
need to
no?
remember. No, it's like a comedy where the dude's gonna get married, and they get all shit faced.
Oh, The
And the next day they
Hangover?
have to. That's pretty much Chivas squad, man. The Hangover. They always it's just years and years of this. You even have it with Marco Fabian when they were, the all these like memes will go where they'll use the loteria card, El Borracho, and have his face there.
Oh yeah,
And
that's a really funny Photoshop.
but yeah, they've just too much indiscipline that's been going on, and then just I think with Pelaez, one of the things they want to just have the squad be a bit more professional, and he did talk to them, about how I think they had to sign contracts of like how you're going to behave and whatnot, and so to have the players still, doing things like that, it's I don't know if it's worrisome, but you need to have, you need to be concentrated on.
All right. I don't know if you know how I feel about this, but we have the group chat on Twitter, but I'm gonna say this, man. If you got players that are party animals or like they have to get it out, you have to learn how to like coach them. And I understand that Peláez made them all sign like a contract and commitment to like adhering to the rules and stuff. But hey, man, it was not like before a game. It was well over 48 hours before game day. They, what's wrong with having a little fun? It's your birthday. I mean, I understand like maybe not drinking so much, but man, it's like we're human beings. Live a little. And another thing too, before we go any further, is when we talk about the Campeonísimo era, when Chivas were winning all the leagues from like, the late 50s to the 60s, they were pre-gaming. They were taking shots of tequila before every game. So I don't this is part of our culture. You know what I mean? Just be responsible about it, but you can't prevent it from happening, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think it's as bad as it looks, but just given that it's on top of so many other indiscipline that's been going on, that just makes it seem like these players aren't taking things serious. But we already had the respaldo. Well, they had it from the team captain Molina, who spoke out on their behalf, and so they're being brought back because I think it was gonna be a 2-game suspension, but
Oh,
they're coming back and they're gonna play. They're gonna play in
what?
Chivas next game.
That was an in-house suspension, though, right? It wasn't.
Yeah, it was in house. It
Yeah.
was. Yeah. So
We should have had Turco Mohamed as our coach, man. That guy would be with the players doing lines. He'd be all about the pachanga.
doing lines. Well, tomorrow, man. Let's see what happens because Chivas will be facing Pachuca tomorrow, and they're playing at home. So
And
hopefully these guys are fired up.
it's been a while.
Chivas needs that win.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've actually established, like, I don't know, a respectable home record. I feel like Chivas have never, especially with like the new stadium, they've never really made it seem like hell for other teams at home. You know what I mean? Like they don't have that intimidation factor like they used to in Jalisco. I think Jalisco had a little bit of weight to it, a little bit of history, and this new stadium, like Chivas don't really. I don't know what their record is, but I feel like they're doing better in the road than they are at home.
Yeah, it was a while, man, and they haven't pretty much since they built the OmniLife. They haven't had like an impressive home record, and even under Matias, and fans hate when I bring this up, but he went a whole season without being able to win a league game. He won
At home, huh?
He won cup.
Yeah.
At home.
Yeah.
And it was a bit covered up because he would win
the Mickey Mouse cups
or yeah,
or the Clásico or something.
Well, you're losing, but then you play the second division team, or Lobos or some team and you win, and that sort of covered it up. But in league, he did go a whole season without, and that's just ouch, man. No excuses. But so it's. I think it's. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about Chivas and not being able to make the the Akron like a feared venue, But I think Tena was pretty decent. He got booted because people didn't like his style. And let's see what happens with Buse. Let's see what Buse does. So yeah, and well, this season, hopefully this season we'll start seeing some good results at home.
Well, right now Chivas currently sit 12th in the league table, of course.
So they are in Liguilla.
As of right now, they would be in Liguilla, thanks to Tijuana's terrible goal differential, but they are tied on points with Tijuana and Querétaro. Let's just go from the top to bottom. So Cruz Azul's in first place with a game at hand. They have 13 points. Toluca already played. They lost, so they stay in 12 with 12 points. León in third place with 11. Puebla with 10 points. Tigres, which are currently playing right now with Mazatlán, they're currently tied 1-1. They have 10 points. América has 10. They're in sixth. Pumas, Pachuca, Monterrey, Necaxa, Querétaro, Chivas. Those are 1 through 12. And then Tijuana, Juárez, Mazatlán, Atleti, Santos, and Atlas is the bottom feeder.
Well, still, the thing about right now that's currently being played, so Mazatlán, Tigres, there's big rumors that if Mazatlán loses, Paco Palencia is out.
No way.
So
You're lying.
This could be the first. This could be the first sack. I don't think coach. Well, no, second.
No, Tena got sacked.
Tena.
Yeah,
Tena. I'm sorry, I forgot. This could be the second one. Matchweek 7. This could be the second one.
That is that is such a short leash, man. 6 games, you're gonna pull the plug?
Well, the results. I mean, what have their results been? So
Um,
let's.
I'll look it up, but I mean, come on, man. You're a new franchise. You're not gonna be world beaters. You know what I mean? I understand that you're a new franchise and you wanna, you're on Twitter acting tough and being a big bully, but you can't possibly think about getting rid of coach mid-season on your first season after 6 fixtures. I mean, that's ridiculous. They lost,
Yeah. Well.
so they lost to Puebla.
Well, I mean, they did it to ten. They did it to as ridiculous as it sounds. They did it. They
Yeah,
did it to
but
ten.
then it
One
was,
game in, dude.
but then
One game in.
that wasn't. He didn't have just 3 games and got fired. He had the season before as well. So
The season before his record was good.
no, I know, but
He
I mean, like he had more than 6 games,
oh,
is what I'm
okay.
saying. Yeah.
Okay, I get it. I don't know, man. I don't
Yeah.
know. They might not like Valencia's nail polish or something.
What
But
about
that's
what about Piojo? Is he on the hot seat too?
no.
No.
Piojo is, he's fine, but he is playing another guy that is on the hot seat.
Atleti. Who's their coach?
The coach. That guy's also rumored to be on the
Wow.
cutting board. So a defeat to
Some
goddamn, was it Luna? Is it? I believe it's El Bombero Luna.
Guillermo Vasquez is the coach for Atleti San Luis.
Oh, my bad. But I
He's
think
the he's the guy that like what had notoriously, runner up like 4 times in a row or something. He couldn't get the job
damn.
done. Yeah, I remember with like Pumas and Cruz Azul, he got him to the final, but he just couldn't seal the deal.
Yeah. Well, he could very well. He's
Wow.
coming off of a 3-1 defeat to Cruz Azul. I mean, it's tough, man. This
It
guy
is
had
tough.
Chivas. He had his last games was Chivas and then Cruz Azul and now America. Uh, that's a tough act, but that's just the politics in Liga MX, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes
It's
it's
a
not even the results.
it's a coach
It's,
carousel, right? You got the short-term thinking with results, but then yes, Joel, like you mentioned, there's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. You know what I mean? With promoters and agents and
yeah, a
all
lot
that,
of recycling, man.
a lot of stuff. And I actually wanted to segue into some good news that kind of ties back into all this. I have a buddy who lives in Portugal, and he said, "Hey, man, do you know about this kid? His name is Jesus Alejandro Gomez." And I'm like, I have never heard that name in my life, but apparently he was part of the under-17 Mexico squad that became runner-up to. They lost to Brazil in the final. He plays for Atlas, and he has just signed with a team in Portugal. So
Yeah,
he's
18-year-old center defender.
yeah, and I was trying to explain to my friend who he doesn't follow Liga MX, and he's like, "Hey, oh, man, like what's up with this kid? I really can't find much about him." I'm like, "Yeah, man. I mean, usually what happens is these players do so well in the youth tournaments, but they have such a hard time getting their professional debut because of short-term thinking. The 17 fixtures, you have such a small window to qualify for the playoffs, and then combine that with the coaching carousel. You might have one coach that liked you on the reserves and promoted you to the first team, but then he gets fired, and then your whole development gets like thrown back to like square one, and then
Yeah,
and then you also combine the fact that because there's short-term thinking, because it's a results-driven business, teams and head offices and front offices, they don't have the patience to develop a player. They'll go to South America and pull one of those washed-up players out of a hat, and then in Mexico they'll score 10 goals and be the leading goal scorer. So that's
yeah.
like I was trying to explain that
Well,
to my friend. He didn't understand
that's the
that.
money maker. That's the money maker in Liga MX. It's in the transfers, and especially you buy cheap in, you know, It's like if you go to Costco and you buy the 30 pack, the
the
30
the
pack of
Kirkland brand.
Cokes for no, they have the regular Coke
Oh,
and 30 pack for like $10. Then you go and you sell them for like $1.50 each,
oh, I
and
see, I
you're
see.
gonna come up. Yeah, the people that have the tienditas, and that's kind of the same because South America they get this player for like half a
Yeah,
million
peanuts.
or whatnot, and then they play in Liga MX and then they sell him for like 5 million. Whether he's worth that or not is irrelevant because it's just a business and there's a lot of lavado de dinero, a lot of the money laundering involved as well. And there's a long history of clubs that were involved with that, and at one point even the cartels were using uh, player transfers,
Oh,
not just from Mex, even from Colombia. At one point, there was a bunch of Colombians in Mexico, and there's all these stories that you hear, but that's the moneymaker because majority of clubs they're just losing money. I don't know if you remember when Chiquis was doing his whole thing on his salt shaking on the women's league,
yeah. How
and
was
this
it was
this
costing them
this
more to have the lights open than
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And it's sad, but it's true. So that's the thing that affects the youth players in Liga MX because coach comes in and you have a handful of games, to try to like keep your job. You're not gonna trust the young guy. You're gonna put in some veterano players or experienced players. You're gonna throw them in there. And I have a good example, which I've always liked using, was with the Massa. A lot of people call him a tronco, and a lot of people say how he sucked. But if you see his career as a player, he achieved a lot, man. He
Oh
he
yeah, are you
he
kidding me?
he played World Cup. He played Libertadores. He won league, not just with Chivas and America, but I'm pretty sure he
In
won at
Germany, I
PSV.
think, right?
And he played. Yeah, so he
PS
was in Europe, and
PSV
he,
and
he did.
Stuttgart. Yeah.
Yeah, he was all over, man. He had a really great career. And I think at the World Cup was it the match against Brazil? He had one of those games where he was one of the best with pass accuracy, which was like wow. But so when he debuted, he debuted when Travieso Guzman was the coach,
Mm.
and I remember he had two games. The first game was against Tecos,
He
and they win, and he did the assist. He does an assist. It's like off a corner kick, and he hits the ball, and like he does like a pass by heading it, and then some player. It's like a set play, comes in and scores. But then they go away and they play Pumas, and this Pumas was being coached by Hugo, and they just tore into Chivas, man. This was like a 7-1
oh wow.
defeat. Yeah, it was harsh, and so Guzman just sends Massa back, man. He's like,
Dang.
forget it, man. He sends him back to Tapatio, back to the second division. New coach comes in, the so-called greatest coach in the world,
Hans.
Yayo de la Torre.
No, it was
No, no,
Hans. Wasn't it Hans?
no, it was Yayo de la Torre. No,
Oh.
it was. This was around the time Vergara took over, and then Vergara said, "I'm gonna bring the best coach in the world for Chivas." And at the time, they were talking about Carlos Bianchi. Technically,
Oh
you could
yeah.
say he was because he had won Libertadores and he had won the
Club World Cup.
Intercontinental Cup. Well,
Mm.
it was before clubs. Yeah, he had beaten the European teams, and so supposedly he was gonna hire him, and he said, "I'm bringing the best coach in the world." And then when they make the announcement, it was Yayo de la Torre, the cousin of Chepo, and and this guy, his first order of business was to bring in some defenders, some older guys, and 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 that was pretty much going to be it for Massa. I don't think he was going to get a shot until, as you mentioned, Hans Westerhoff comes in and he just makes him a starter from day one,
Wow.
and the rest is history. But I do think if Hans hadn't come in,
Oh yeah. He'd
I don't
be
think would have
he
Massa would have just career would have been in San Luis,
he would have
old San Luis or
he would have ended
Dorados de Sinaloa or something.
He would have ended up having that trajectory where like he ends up playing in like El Salvador, Costa Rica, or some shit, you know. But yeah, no, like you know, that's a very good perspective of like basically the career of a young player and how hard it is to actually make it. So yeah, I was telling my friend, you know, like, hey man, this Liga MX is a completely different animal, you know, because of the short seasons, because of playoffs. We don't have like that long leash like, you know, the rest of the world does with the long season format. And you know, I wish the best for this kid. I really don't know much about him, but apparently it's a loan with the option to buy. So, you know, if he does well out there, he can you know, move there permanently. And Portugal has done Mexicans well. Right now, Jesus Corona, Tecatito, was named player of the year for their league.
MVP, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
the 2019-2020 season.
And if I'm not mistaken, he's been transitioning to left back. You know, he's not even playing on the wing as a forward anymore. He's playing more of a defensive role, and he still won MVP. So I mean, that's crazy, man. I you know, there's a lot of great players in Portugal.
Transitioning, he now identifies as a left back. He's position he's
you can address
fluent.
me as left back, okay? Don't assume my position.
Did you just assume his position? But wow, that is impressive though to switch. You know, to switch. You know, position and still maintain a you know, consistent. That's a good and rumors flying high of since we're in Europe, rumors flying high of I think it's Jimenez agent was in Spain. And already they're talking the big two. And
No
normally
way.
I would be like normally I would have been like, but given who his agent is,
yes. He's got the best agent in the world, Jorge Mendes.
Yeah, but I mean, who knows? Who knows what he's doing, man? He could just be, he could be there for other reasons, not because, you know, that guy represents a lot of players.
Oh yeah.
So who knows, man? It's still up in question. Jaime, would you leave or would you stay at Wolves, man?
Well, I've mentioned this many times before on the podcast. If you can keep the core nucleus of the team together, stay at Wolves, because I mean, they ended up in 6th or 7th position. They're going to be in the Europa League again next season. And if it's working, you know, just stay there. You know, you go to a different league and you don't have like the same players that you were homies with. Like the big one is Traore. You know what I mean? If I was Jimenez, I'm like, yeah, you guys are more than willing to negotiate for my transfer fee, but just know it's a package. You know, me and Traore are going to go together, because those two.
Is that other dude still there? Jota?
Jota, I think he's still there.
Jota, okay.
I
he
mean,
was like his link up for a while, but and you have to imagine, like, if you have a team that's doing that well, and I'm assuming they're getting some shekels here and there, that they would bring in, you know, 1 or 2 more really good players to bolster that team, you know.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, they're they were recently promoted, you know, and he got them all the way to the Europa League. I mean, he's their best player. He's already broken so many records for Wolves. He's already like their highest like goal scorer of all time. So it's like,
yeah, I'll stay, man.
At this point, you know, you build a legacy.
Legend.
You build a legacy with these guys. You stay there and they'll build a statue of you. You know what I mean?
He's close there, man. With or without mascara? That would be the question, dude. How do you want your statue, dude?
Yeah. Of course, you can't say no to a Real Madrid or a Barcelona, but I mean,
you know what?
Huh.
Batistuta did it for years, man. He was very similar. He was in Fiorentina and he was just killing it. And he turned down multiple times offers to go to stronger teams. It wasn't until like pretty much when he was gonna retire that he went to Roma and Fabio Capello was there and he wanted a Scudetto, man. So that was like, and the fans kind of like were cool with it because they're like,
Mm,
he's given us so much, it's we allow it, but he did win it
Roma.
with Capello. They did,
Yeah.
yeah, he did it, and so it's kind of the same, man. I would just stay there and
Yeah.
you want a league championship, you could come to Chivas before you retire.
Oh man. And we'll see what happens with Raul, But I kind of going back to Corona, so they put a price tag of 30 million euros for the kid, and it seems like Sevilla or Inter might be interested, but we'll see. We'll see what happens with Corona. He's another player like at Porto, like he's had a great career just like Hector Herrera, and why not? Why not just stay in Portugal? I've always wanted Corona to like make the leap to Spain or to England, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with staying at Portugal if you're gonna be like the
Wasn't he being linked to Barca as well? Everyone
at
gets
one
linked to
point,
Barca.
yeah, yeah.
Pretty much every Mexican player gets linked to one of those two. It just seems like the throwaway. There's no news. Medio tiempo's like, hey, we need one more story. Just pull a name from the pot and link him to link him to some big team.
uh,
There's clickbait.
the last player that was linked with Barcelona, rest in peace, Carlos Vela. He injured his knee, so
Ouch.
he's going to be sidelined
Yeah.
for a while. I actually saw the injury happen in real time. It was crazy. I was just flipping through the channels, and I saw it was LA Galaxy versus LAFC, and I was like, oh, let me see if like Chicharito's playing or Vela, and I see him like he's like going after the ball, and then he just stops, and like, when I see that, I'm like, oh, it's serious, and
He
he
felt it.
he like limped off the field, and MCL is his injury, and he's probably going to be sidelined for a minimum of like 6 weeks.
Okay, that's not that bad.
Yeah, but the thing
That's not.
is, those injuries. I mean, that's like the minimum, but you really want to be careful with that kind of tear. Like
Yeah.
you want to like be super cautious, and you know, for Vela, it's not like he actually cares about football, so it's not like he's gonna try and get back
He's
on the field as soon as possible. You know what I mean? He's chilling, man.
no.
He opted out of
So
the Florida
he-
tournament, so he didn't even want to play. So he's like, all
he's
right, cool.
probably glad that the NBA is going ahead with playoffs.
He's like, all right, man. Now I don't have conflicting schedules. I'm gonna be on my ass all day watching the NBA.
That's crazy. And I wanted Chiquis to be here because he was talking about watching Chicharito on Twitch playing Call of Duty. It just seems. So,
Yeah, I don't know
I was like, oh man.
where do you find
Huh?
the time to watch other people play video games? I can barely have time to play video games, so let alone having the time to watch other people play. I can't do it, man.
It was just a trip, man. I imagine Galaxy fans. They haven't been too. I don't think they're too. What's that word? Happy. They're not too happy right now with the Cheech. He's been anything but, the goal scoring
Has he?
machine that they thought we're gonna get. I don't.
I actually gotta check to see if he's scored yet. Has he scored yet?
Does he has like maybe one of a penalty or something? I don't. Good question, but
He
no,
missed the penalty. I remember he missed the
he-
penalty.
man.
He's got one goal, baby. 3 appearances. All right.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not that bad.
Uh,
Cause well, has it been three? I know he missed. He missed a few games.
he did not, or he did participate, I think, in the Florida tournament, but I don't remember. I know he missed a penalty. It's funny. I just googled his name, and the first thing it says, "What the hell happened to Chicharito?"
He's more worried about his kill death ratio in Call of Duty, man.
He's got another he's got
Couldn't
another
kill
bun
his
in the
squad for
oven.
Warzone.
He's gonna be a father again for the second time.
Oh,
Yeah, so he's
yeah, I could see why. I could see why, dude. His hot stuff there, man.
she didn't even have a
This
break,
dude, that's
man.
why he doesn't have legs, man. He's spent. He climbs up there and
Oh man, it's funny because I think like when he had his best tears at like when he was scoring the most goals when he was single, man. Or he was just he didn't really have a girlfriend, and then all of a sudden he gets a girlfriend, and his goals go down the toilet. That happened when he started dating that Spanish girl. I don't know, man. His goals went down, and then now with Sarah, he's in the MLS now. It's not looking good, man. Uh, this is happening right now. I'm watching the Mazatlan Tigres game, and it is pouring rain, and I don't know if they're contemplating like stopping the game because it is. I mean, these guys look like they just came out of the swimming pool.
man, Palencia must. If I'm Palencia, you wanna
Oh no,
keep it
Palencia!
down.
His tight jeans, bro. He's got the tightest jeans in the league, man.
He's gonna have a rash. He's, he's,
Uh,
it's gonna hurt to take those jeans off, man.
yeah.
He's gonna cut him open or something.
There was more news with this Cruz Azul investigation, and they have ordered the apprehension of Robin Alvarez, who I think is the son of Billy.
Of Billy.
Yeah.
Okay, of the.
So
Yeah, those two.
yeah, that's still an ongoing investigation. So we really don't know what's going on with Cruz Azul behind the scenes, but man, it says they are wanted in 195 countries, and Interpol has requested the apprehension. Like, this is some serious stuff, man. I mean,
Well, no, we've seen it before, man. Like and it's going back to what we talked about earlier, how a lot of these Liga MX clubs make money, and it's a lot of like money laundering. We saw it with Monterrey years ago. The owner Jorge Lancambeu, I still can't pronounce his name, but this guy used to money launder for the Juarez cartel, and he was involved with. It was a bank. Forgot which bank was in. It was like in Mex, and he. It was just massive what was going on,
oh wow.
and eventually they had to sell the club. So that's it's unfortunate, but that's just what's going on, man. That's why we've seen it with other teams that eventually end up getting new ownership for very similar reasons.
Another thing that, again, I'm not sure if we covered it in our last episode, but Javier Hernandez won a medal with Sevilla. So he leaves Europe a champion. Oh man, that's crazy, man. Yeah, so I mean that's he could have been there. He could have been at Sevilla. I mean, we wanted to keep it short tonight. We didn't really have too much going on. There are some crazy stuff happening outside of the Mexican football, that with Messi and him trying to get the hell out of Barcelona, and I mean that's I don't know what's going on over there, but I would not want any of our players to go to Barcelona right now.
One of the rumors is that he's just that he just handed in his transfer because he doesn't like the current leadership, the president and
Yeah, the
whatnot,
president.
and so that could be it because he makes so much money that it would be difficult for another big club
To afford
to
him.
swoop in. Yeah, and even though because supposedly it's a free transfer because there was like a clause,
Oh,
and then
wow.
Barcelona's disputing that. So the dispute is that the clause had already ended, but because of the whole COVID and the league suspension, that supposedly it hadn't or something like that. But I think those are just like semantics. Even if because the release clause is somewhere at 700 million,
Yeah.
which no club will
No,
pay.
no one's gonna
That's
afford
just.
that. No.
But they're saying that they would still have to sell them because it's either sell them for like 100 or whatever, or just risk
Or
losing them
or he
on a
just walks
free.
like a free man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and but even if he did leave free, he's paid so much money that
Yeah, his
even these.
wages will be crazy.
Yeah,
Uh
and most of these, if you look at any of these top clubs, they're kind of spent already. Like they would have to probably get rid of like 3 players to bring him in. So who knows what's going on. Uh, I'm in the camp of he just wants to see some changes, probably him exerting more influence, because I think he could end up being one of those players that he could have like a whole career once his football career ends, like a directivo type role, like just in that
I don't.
institution.
All right, I'm gonna say this about Messi, bro. This guy does not have a backbone. Number one, you don't break up with your girlfriend through text message, okay? What is wrong with you, bro? This guy sent a letter, a fax to Barcelona to let him know, hey, by the way, I'm over this relationship, okay? And number two, how many times has he said that he was no longer going to play for Argentina because they choked on the World Cup? They choked on 2 Copa Americas back to back. He said, "Ya estuvo. I'm not going to play for Argentina anymore. I can't do it." This guy does not have leadership. This guy is not somebody that I want on my team, man. He's a great player, but as far as like maybe like coaching or moving up past football, he might be one of those commentators on TV, but I really don't see him being that kind of person because that's just his personality, man. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
he seems introverted, but I mean, with the club, you're the type of dude that you're there, and you could be like like a spokesperson or.
Yeah, yeah.
But for I say introverted, then I say spokesperson. I mean,
Like
maybe not
an
like.
ambassador to the club,
Yeah, there you go. Some whatever they make it
You
up
go to
and
these
just hang
fancy
out.
dinners and you're still on their payroll and stuff, but you're not really, implementing change. Someone that I do see that could potentially do that is like Xavi. He's coaching out in Saudi Arabia, I think, but everyone's saying how he needs to be the next coach for Barcelona and, I don't think he has the experience yet, but that's a player that I could see kind of stepping in and trying to influence change within Barcelona. But yeah, Messi, I don't know, man. I would for him to go to like Man City, it would just be mind blowing, man. Like we've talked about how he's never really been outside his comfort zone because he's spent his whole career in Barca and the whole time he had his Guardiola to build a team around him. But you take him outside of Barcelona, he doesn't have results. And for him to go to Man City and go to the Premier League, which is a lot different, a lot more physical, a lot more balanced as a league. It's just wow. Like I can't believe you even are trying to do this, man. You would at this point just retire Barcelona and keep the relationship untarnished. But now it's tarnished, man. There's no going back.
I don't know, man. I don't. I don't know. I think if it's because of the whole leadership, I think the fans will understand, especially if things get fixed, you know. So, a ver qué. We'll see how this novela
Yeah.
develops.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. I do want to say though, however, Tigres minute 77, they just scored against Mazatlan, so it looks like they're going to be pulling away with the victory. And I promise you, right now, it looks like a pig pen out there. It is muddy, it is grimy. The players are brown. Like it's one of those games that, as a player, you love. You have so much fun, but it's like if you're watching this at home, you're like, oof, I'm so glad I'm not on the pitch right now.
Man. So yeah, it could be, if the rumors are true, this will be Palencia's last game right there.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll keep obviously everyone updated week by week. Make sure to catch us every week on the CantinaMX podcast, the Twitter. We try to post there periodically. But Joel, do you have anything else you wanted to share with the audience before we wrap it up tonight?
I had something here, man, and it skipped to my mind.
Oh man, I hate
Skipped my mind. Did we talk about Turco's kid?
Oh, we forgot to talk about Turco's. Oh my god, yo!
Yeah,
his debut.
His debut, and it was against America. Big game. And he was there for like a minute or less,
No,
I guess.
Man. I kid you not. I was tweeting you guys, hey, man, Turco's kid's making his debut. And as soon as I sent the tweet, oh, he got a red card. He made he played a total of like 15, maybe 30 seconds. It was so weird, man. He went for a ball and he stepped on some kid's heel, and the referee thought that it was, aggressive, and he gave him a red card. Didn't even break a sweat. Didn't even get his shirt dirty or anything, man.
Oh, man. Well, we're not going to see him since he's going to serve out the suspension. And it's against Juarez, man. I think the Turk should have saved him for this match,
Yeah.
Throw him. Get an easy opponent in there first. But, I mean, Monterrey did win. They beat America, and this was America's second defeat.
Mm-hmm.
So things are looking a little bad for Piojo, even though he faces San Luis, the coach, and I forget his name, but he hasn't been able to beat that coach. You could say that's his coco.
Piojo?
The coach, the coach of San Luis.
Oh.
In head-to-head games, he hasn't looked good. So,
Guillermo? Are you talking about Guillermo Vasquez?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Not the guy you want to face coming with it. But we see the craziness of the Liga, where you had Puebla, who had 2 defeats as well. And then they, with the win, they just shot, they jump into the fight. They're in 4th and whatnot. And that's kind of the craziness. And just with America, I mean, they're in 6th. So, and they could even take top 3. I mean, well, no, Tigres is currently at 12, so they could even take first. So
with the victory,
that's because they would be at 14 points. But that's assuming that Cruz Azul loses, or because Cruz Azul hasn't paid. But that's just the craziness of it,
Yeah, I mean, Chivas can go from 12th all the way up to like 5th if they wanted to, maybe, possibly. So it's like,
depending on the results, but
depending on the results, obviously. But I mean, it's just how crazy this league is. But we are, a third of the way through. We have 17 fixtures before we head into the I guess it's gonna be like a wild card Liga and like a repechaje, and then we'll have the playoffs and stuff. But we'll see what happens. We with the European leagues kind of winding down and the season ending right now, the entire focus is on Liga MX, and it sounds like there's not going to be too much player movement unfortunately, we haven't really seen players getting exported to Europe as much as we used to.
Oh, that guy that Chivas booted for being a druggie
Oh yeah,
played.
Pocho
He
Guzman.
played and he scored,
He scored the
and
winner.
Chivas is playing them, and
Yeah.
so he's gonna be there. And it's like, if you're Chivas, do you request he get drug tested?
Well, he's back, for Pachuca. He scored the game-winning penalty against Mazatlan. And, I'm happy for him because there's still the possibility of him joining Chivas. I mean, again, it was not Chivas' decision. It was FIFA's who said, "Hey, you guys can't this transfer is you can't do it because because of the drug thing." But I hope that they still try to pursue him. I think he would fit in nicely with the club, especially
Yeah,
if the inevitable happens and we do lose Macias.
yeah.
Although I
Well,
will go ahead.
Chivas, it was too much of a gamble to buy him because it was still up in the air how long his suspension was gonna be, and it could have been
Like a year or
it,
something. Yeah.
it could have been longer than that. It could have been one where it's like his career's done, and it's like you just bought a player that you're not gonna even be able to use,
Yeah.
and this is your refuerzo bomba. So yeah, I understand why Chivas like to solve the transfer, but so he's back now, and who knows, man? Who knows what will happen? If he's still gonna be an option, I don't know. Who knows? But
Yeah.
like you, I'm glad that he's playing because it seemed at that point that his career was over,
Yeah.
and this was one of the players that wanted to go abroad. Like he really wanted to go, and he just didn't get that chance. But I mean, he's still a good talent.
What is it with Chivas and their luck of getting players that were caught for doping? Aaron Galindo, Carmona, Salvador Carmona, and now Pocho.
Damn.
It's like, damn, man.
And now El
And then
Pocho.
we got players that party and drink. It's like, yo, this is the party team, man.
There's a curse, man. Someone has a voodoo doll. A Chivas voodoo doll.
someone buried an America jersey in the new stadium. I don't know if you know
They
that
have.
the what happened with was it I want to say it was the Red Sox. They tried to bury a
Oh,
Red Sox jersey in the new Yankee Stadium
oh, damn.
as like a curse.
That's
Yeah.
some witchcraft stuff. Yeah, well, Chivas did I could imagine a voodoo doll, right? And then they have like some pomos there, like some botellas, some vodka bottles and whatnot, some perico, and it's like they they need to go to Indio Amazonico and get a cleanse, man. Get a
um
12 eggs and start cracking.
What there was another thing I was gonna mention with Pocho and why I kind of want him to join is because again at the rate that we're going, Macias might be gone. Although he has been missing as of late. If anybody knows what has happened to Macias, let me know because he has not been scoring, and it seems like the magic's starting to wear off. Man, I don't know what's happening. He's missing his shooting boots.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I need to see if it's not just that the team was playing bad.
Well, I mean, you lose Antuna, you lose Vega. Those are really huge options in the final third. But to say that he hasn't been getting service is a lie because he had a few good opportunities against Toluca. One where he was completely unmarked, and he just couldn't, man. He just couldn't get it on target. He couldn't put it in the back of the net. So I'm sure he's kind of going through some mind games, and he's when you're a striker, you are always at war with yourself, especially if you're going through like a dry spell. It just starts
Yeah,
to, you start to lash out, and then I don't know, you go on YouTube and start a YouTube channel because that's what Chicharito did. But you start to freak out, So hopefully,
I'm gonna chalk that up to he hit a slump,
yeah,
and
yeah, because I mean, we were watching him week in and week out when he was at León and he was scoring goals, and we were just like, man, that could have been us. And then now that we have him, it's like, yo, man, where's this?
But that León team was fire, man.
Oh, yeah,
of
course.
One of the best offense. They had one of the best offense, and they were just, he had some really good players behind him, like Luis Montes and whatnot.
Was that Mena? Yeah, he had a really good partner in crime.
Mena was the guy having like a break, like he was having one of those outstanding seasons. But I'm a hope it's just he just hit a little slump, and I think he's gonna bounce back. Probably lost a bit of focus with those rumors of him going to Spain.
Oh yeah.
At one point they were even reporting that he wasn't gonna play or whatnot because he was getting ready to leave.
There was the game where he got pulled 60 minutes in, and everybody assumed that it was because he was, on his way to Sociedad,
Yeah.
But
they've limited his playing time, they said.
But it was just because it was a double header, so they wanted to keep him healthy. But we'll see what happens. They play Pachuca tomorrow, and we'll see if they can get a positive results. It's not an easy task. Pachuca's a great team, but they'll be at home. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's gonna be one of the good matches of the match week 7, I would say. Some of the other lineups, they just don't seem as interesting.
We have Atlético San Luis versus América tomorrow. That should be an easy layup for América, although you did mention that their coach is Piojo's kryptonite. Yeah, both games will be at 5:00 tomorrow Pacific time. Chivas Pachuca, Atleti San Luis, and then Cruz Azul Necaxa, Pumas Tijuana, Monterrey Juárez, Santos versus Querétaro, León Atlas. Yeah, these games are all whack, bro.
on paper.
On paper, yeah.
Estimado Jaime, because we did see what happened with Pachuca Mazatlán. It was a 7-goal thriller.
Right.
So yeah, on paper they look, you never know, man. One of those might just be one of those just really exciting matchups.
And just judging off of this game that again is still happening right now with Tigres and Mazatlan. I mean, it's pouring rain in Mexico right now, so that also adds to the to the game and to the thrill. You see you see all these players getting all crazy because of the rain. So we'll see what happens.
A ver qué.
All right, well, thank you for joining us. And for the audience out there, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter. My name is Jaime Landeros. This is the CantinaMX podcast. Hope everybody has a good night.